Let me ask you a real difficult question there, Catholics. Did Jesus Christ ever call anybody else Satan? You say, well, he said Satan hath desire to have thee, and they may sift thee as wheat. But he called him Satan. He called Peter Satan. I mean, Satan has desired any Christian out there. Any Christian is the devil's enemy. And the devil will go after any Christian. That's just a common thing of being saved. But show me another Christian in the Bible that was called Satan. Let's discuss it. Don't want to. Here we have the Amplified Bible. This thing is always good for a laugh. That's about it. I mean, the most ridiculous thing. It's just funny almost. Matthew chapter 16, verse 18. And I tell you, you are Peter, Petros masculine, a large piece of rock, and on this rock, Petra feminine, a huge rock like Gibraltar, I will build my church. And the gates of Hades, the powers of the infernal region, shall not overpower it, or be strong to its detriment, or hold out against it. Okay. Boy, you can memorize this one. I mean, sure. Verse 23, but Jesus turned away from Peter and said to him, Get behind me, Satan. You are in my way, an offense and a hindrance and a snare to me. For you are minding what partakes not of the nature and quality of God, but of men. Crystal clear. Yeah. But here's another good one. How about the Message? The Message that was basically going bankrupt. They were just about out of print, and then Billy Graham came along and helped them to get back on their feet, helped Eugene Peterson to get back on his feet again. They were handing them out at the Billy Graham Crusades. Billy Graham, who was a friend of the Pope and would point Catholics back to Catholic churches. A little pawn for the Vatican. I saw Franklin Graham came out recently and was saying that he prays that the Catholic Church remains faithful to the cause of Christ, Stinking sellout. But let's look at this. Matthew chapter 16 and verse 18. It's so hard because they just put the numbers over here, but they don't actually show you where it starts. It says here, and now I'm going to tell you who you are, really are. You are Peter, a rock. This is the rock on which I will put together my church, a church so expansive with energy that not even the gates of hell will be able to keep it out. That's kind of an interesting way to put it. The gates of hell shall not prevail against it, is what the King James Bible says. This thing says here, where's that? The gates of hell will be able to keep it out. Not even the gates of hell will be able to keep it out. So then where are they trying to go? Into hell? That's a smart thing to put in there. But interesting that the old Eugene Peterson here seems to be trying to help out the Catholic Church, his bosses. Check out verse 23. But Jesus didn't swerve. Peter, get out of my way. Satan, get lost. Okay? You have no idea how God works. So, Peter, get out of my way. Satan, get lost. He didn't call Peter Satan in the Message. Nice little work there for his masters at the Vatican. This Satanist here, Eugene Peterson. No, the fact of the matter is that if you want to understand about Catholicism, I recommend this book right here, Babylon Religion, How a Babylonian Goddess Became the Virgin Mary by David Daniels, with illustrations by Jack Chick. And there's a whole lot of other good books and things and videos too at Chick Publications. I'm not paid by Chick. I don't work for Chick.com. But they will tell you the truth about what Roman Catholicism is. It is ancient Babylonian witchcraft is all that the thing is. And I just find it funny, the hypocrisy of the whole system, where Jesus 1 minute is calling Peter, he's naming him the first pope, and then he calls him Satan 5 verses later, and it's like, well, we'll spend all of our time talking about Peter and the rock, and it's the rock and everything, but we'll just kind of conveniently leave out the thing of where he gets called Satan. It's a problem. Okay, Peter is not the foundation of the church. Jesus Christ is. Again, watch the other study on Peter being the world's or history's worst pope. It's absurd. The Roman Catholic system is man's traditions. It's based on based on ancient Babylonian witchcraft is what it is. That's why they have the Mother Church, their goddess that they worship. So I'm probably going to be doing a study at some point in time in the future on this one right here. To show you here the new St. Joseph Baltimore Catechism. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I have a couple different editions of this thing, and just to show Christians what Catholicism is really all about. You see, Roman Catholicism, there's another book by Jack Chick called Smoke Screens, and I'd recommend that one. Just a little thin book. And basically what Roman Catholicism is, it is a system. They control the different countries out there. They are the most powerful of all institutions on earth, and through many different little subcategories and things. But they control the governments, and when they can get open control of a government, they will forcibly convert people. You can see that throughout history. That's what the Crusades were about. Interesting, because Billy Graham goes out on crusades. A lot of the agents of Rome, that pose as Baptists or Bible believers, they'll talk about going on soul-winning crusades or things like that. Dangerous. But Roman Catholicism will sit back and they will play the ecumenical card. They will say, we're for other people. We respect other people's faith traditions and things. They'll play the game. And right now the current Pope is doing this whole ecumenical thing. Well, we're all paths to God. It's all about love, unity, and everything else. That's because they don't have total control yet, right? But when they get total open control, I realize I just said that they control things, but what I'm saying is it's still, they have to win the people over to their side, is what I should say. Let me clarify that, because Catholics will look for any little thing that I say that they can get in there and say, oh, you just contradicted yourself. What I meant to say is, yes, they are controlling the governments, but they don't have control of the people's minds yet. But what will happen is when they get that, when they can turn people and say, these heretics out there need to be eliminated, then anybody who's not a Catholic is going to be eliminated. Right? And right now there's a whole lot of scheming going on with Catholicism and things out there, and I just kind of find it ironic, because when you look at what's going on in Matthew chapter 16, they'll try to claim that Peter is the head of their church, and then Jesus calls him Satan, and it's like there's kind of an interesting little bit of truth there, because you see Satan is the head of Roman Catholicism. Very interesting. Peter's not the head of Roman Catholicism, but Satan is. So in a way, they kind of have it right. Just thought that was kind of interesting. But I have a burden to get out as much truth as we can on the Roman Catholic system, because when they do take over, it's prophesied that it's going to happen, and I don't know how much that's going to happen before the rapture, before the body of Christ leaves. I don't know how much control the Vatican is going to get openly. Every single candidate here in America for president is connected in some way to the Jesuit order. Trump, Jesuit trained at Fordham University. His vice presidential candidate is, has some, I think they called him an evangelical Catholic or something like this. Hillary, her husband, Bill, was trained at Georgetown University, biggest Jesuit school in America. And her running mate is a Jesuit. So it's like they're openly saying, we're going to be taken over soon here. And when that happens and they start to forcibly convert people or whatever else they're going to do, it's going to be a bad system. So that's why I continue to do these videos exposing Roman Catholicism. And of course, for the Roman Catholic people, I do actually care about you enough to tell you the truth that your system is not the biblical system. It's very clear that there's a cover-up. And you might have your explanations and whatever else about why Jesus called Peter Satan and things, but you can't deny the fact that there is definitely within Catholic sources, they're covering up for the verse 23. They cover that thing up. Why did Jesus call Peter Satan after naming him as the first pope? So, and again, you know, like I've said to different Catholics in the comments and things, and I've talked about this with Catholics in person too, and that is, why is it that the current pope in the current system of the Vatican contradicts what the supposed first pope, Peter, what he preached? I mean, read 1 Peter and 2 Peter. Even in your Catholic Bible, read it. Is that what Catholicism is? No, it's not. It's not. I mean, you know, Peter taught the, you know, priesthood of the believer, not a special ordained priesthood to rule over people. I mean, you would think that the closest and most powerful of the popes, going with Catholic teaching, would be Peter. Because he goes back, he was the one that knew Jesus. So you would think, in other words, that people, the popes from then on, would all tie back to Peter as, you know, the ultimate authority. You would think that. But yet, the farther away these popes go from Peter, the more departed from his teachings they go. The whole system's false. That's what I'm trying to say. You need to have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. So, but I've talked about a lot of this other stuff in my other studies, so I'm not going to go into it. But please watch the other studies if you're a Roman Catholic. Please get a King James Bible. That's the real one, not these other ones over here. They're junk. So that's going to be it. Thank you very much for watching.